Hello everyone and welcome to Modeling with Micah. This is week 1 of the 50 weeks in 5 poses. Yeah, that's like a 10th of a pose per week.
That's like a 10th of a pose per week. A 10th of a pose per week.
Welcome to week 1 of the 50 poses in 5 weeks series. I am so excited to be starting this series and also to announce in this episode what the theme of the series is going to be. For the first episode, we're going to be working with the chair. This is such a good tool and piece of furniture to use for any time that you're getting ready for a photo shoot in a studio or maybe like an outdoor photo shoot, whatever it may be, this is good to practice with. So for this episode, we're going to be learning 10 poses to do with a chair. For the first pose, I want to teach you the drape technique. This is where you make sure that you have all your tension released from your arms. The last thing that you want to do is enter a photo shoot with tension, so make sure you release that. I like to just shake my arms out, take deep breaths, whatever works for you to get you in the mindset of getting ready to take the photos. So for the first pose, I'm going to use my profile angle and also use the back of the chair. With this drape technique that I was talking about, I want you to just throw your arm. Wherever your arm lands, it lands. If you're a little more tense, it may land out here. If you're really extremely loose, it may land right here. Like I mentioned, this is a profile angle, so pick an aesthetic point in the distance and also elongate your neck so that way your jaw is shown. What's so great about this exact position or any position that you choose in posing is that there are a million different poses between here and here that you could do. I could put my arm here, 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 here. It's slight adjustments like that that will change your posing game. For the second pose, I'm going to keep my back arm on the armrest and just widen my angle out a little and lean in. For our third pose, I'm just going to make a tiny adjustment. Again, like I said, these are tiny adjustments being made. I'm not drastically moving my body in between each pose. I'm just making tiny adjustments, which is what you want to do when you are in a photo shoot. For our fourth pose, I'm going to bring both of my elbows in on the middle of my thighs. Again, make sure you're not extremely tense. You want to make sure you're loose. For our fifth pose, we're going to get a little bit more structured. The more structure that you get, the more intensity that you want to put into your poses. If it's a very intense pose, make sure your eyes are showing that intensity. Make sure your facial expression is showing that intensity. It's all one complete look. For our sixth pose, I'm going to use that same drape technique that I used on the first few poses and move it to the opposite side of the chair. I would like to mention that for any of these poses, if you want to add an aesthetic profile, that's absolutely perfect, and it's another pose incorporated into that same look. For example, for the sixth pose, if I wanted to look down, it again elongates your jaw, it's a different profile of yourself, and it also shows more character and personality. For our seventh pose, I'm going to go ahead and lean a little bit more into the camera. With this technique, when you add depth to your pose, whether it's leaning forward or leaning back, it either draws the person into your photo or kind of pushes them away. By adding depth and dimension into your poses, it's a great way to maybe add more exposure or get more engagement on the photos that you post. For the eighth pose, I'm going to go ahead and move to the opposite side of the chair from which we started. You may think that this is the exact same pose as the first one, but it's not. It's a completely different profile of yourself, and it's also showing your versatility in having both sides being able to be used. All of us say we have that good angle and we have that bad angle, or we have that good side or we have that bad side. This one isn't as favorable of my side to use, so I'm going to go ahead and cheat out a little bit with this look, but I'm going to still use that new side of my profile that hasn't been used before. For our ninth pose, I'm going to go ahead and incorporate that leaning technique that I talked about before. For For this 10th and final pose, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my feet are structured. That way one is going forward and one is going back. This is again using that depth technique and dimension that I was talking about before. Now, since this leg is the one that's going forward, I want to play off of that. Since there's already movement going towards the camera on this side of my body, I want to add to that. So I could lean on this leg. If I lean back on this leg, it kind of looks awkward because there's movement going this way, but also it's pulling back this way. So for this pose, I'm gonna go ahead and use the same side of my body and lean forward. Well, there you have it, 10 poses for week 1 of the 50 poses in 5-week series. By the end of these series, I want you to have an entire plethora of posing techniques to be using for your repertoire of photo books, galleries, and even photo shoots that you may be taking. If you enjoyed these videos, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and I would love to see all the photos that you take from these posing videos. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are located in the world. Stay safe, stay positive, and never stop smiling.